Welcome to our mid-April edition of Dan and Glenn's Calgary Real Estate Market Report. I'm Glenn McCormick.
And I'm Dan Desley. Things are still changing pretty quickly in this pandemic market of ours here, Glenn. And many of our viewers are asking us to keep them informed as much as possible. So Glenn, let's share the latest of what's happening out there.
Sounds good to me. Let's do this.
That's as good as it gets.
Okay. Before we get to the latest statistics, I wanted to let you know that afterwards we're going to share some pieces of an interview that Justin Haver did with some of Dan's recent clients who purchased a home from start to finish completely virtually without even meeting Dan in person until he handed over the keys to their new house. So there'll be some great information to get, because we're going to see this process happen a lot more in the coming days in the future here. And it's good to hear the experiences from real people who have used these services. Okay, statistics. So we want to share this interesting graph that shows a visual of how COVID-19 has affected our market. Since March 15th, we've seen about 794 sales. Now compare this to the same period in 2019, where we had 1,464 sales. That gray area, what you see there, is essentially what's missing from our sales due to the pandemic, which is about 54%. And I dare say we would have been doing better than that. Those first numbers are a little bit skewed that you see at the beginning of the graph, since March 15th, 2019 was Friday, and then this year, March 15th was on a Sunday. Now, typically sales generally close a lot of the time on Friday. So if you compare it like that, March 13th was our closest Friday in 2020 there. And on that day, there was actually 87 sales, so better than, the March 15th from 2019. Dan, let's bring it over to you for a more detailed look at the last 2 weeks of April here.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Thanks for that information. That was a great breakdown that you did there.
Cheers.
Now, for this here, this is specifically for April 1st to the 16th of 2020, compared to 2019 here last year. So we are at 37% of last year's sales, with 285 versus the 765 sales that we saw in the same period for 2019. Thankfully, inventory is down as well, which does help offset the low sales, because when you do compare the sales to new listings ratio to the year, it's only a difference of 3.77%. So what that means that we're still buying up the available inventory at a rate that is comparable to last year. Hopefully we can still keep that going here. Now, the big one is price. So on average, prices are down 6.75% versus 2019, but it's important to consider that this depends on the area and the style of the home as well that we're looking at. So for example, for attached homes, which include the duplexes and the townhomes, they're only down about 1.5%. So finally, it's important to acknowledge that no, we're not seeing buyers getting apocalyptic, 10, 20, and 30% discounts on listed prices. Compared to a year ago, the average sale price versus the listed price, it's just slightly less. So in the past 2 weeks here, in fact, Glenn, we've actually been seeing 11 sales that were either at or above the listed price. Did I break out at all there? It's not going to get better with what I'm working with here.
Well, that's fine. Thanks a lot for that, Dan. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, we wanted to share the experiences that some of Dan's recent clients had with their virtual home buying process, basically from start to finish. As I mentioned, we're going to see a lot more of these occurrences as we go on in the future. So listen to these words from these real buyers about how great they thought the experience was. Here we go.
Actually, yeah. What would you say to people that would consider staying in their homes and having the agent give them a video tour of potential properties that they want to buy?
I say to go with it. Just try it out.
Oh, absolutely.
It's been easy for us. It's been great. I think it really depends on the realtor too. who you're dealing with, professionalism and, how they work. So, but I think if you have the right realtor and the right realtor company, you can definitely go smooth, just as smooth as being there. So.
So I still felt like we had that personal touch with Dan, even though we had never met him in person. He was just so personable. And to me, I felt like even though I never actually met him, I knew him.
Yeah.
And I felt we could trust him was the main thing. So I think a lot of this is trust. If you can trust the realtor and trust the company you're dealing with.
Yeah, so doing the video tours was amazing because, we had all the trust and faith in Dan, and his tours that he did, we would tell him that we wanted to see a place and he'd be there like the same day or the next day.
Yeah, basically. It was really good.
And show us every little detail of the house. And so it was basically like we were there in person, even though we weren't.
We could see the house. It was pretty. The video was really clear. He showed us every detail. Like even if there was for instance, there's a mark in one of the carpets where I think one of their animals chewed it up, and he showed us that. He showed us everything. Like he didn't try to hide anything. We saw everything we needed to see.
No, it didn't really feel like there was that big of a difference between being there in person and not being there in person. I had all of the same information. I had the videos. I had the phone calls. So I had that personal contact still.
It went pretty smooth. We didn't have any apprehensions at all about it.
No.
So it was smooth.
Yeah.
So I would say don't let COVID-19 hold you back. If you planned on moving, if you could do it this way, I would go ahead with it.
Absolutely.
So
there we have it. That was fantastic work, Dan, helping those people virtually without meeting them, but using the technology that we have. And obviously they were very happy with the results. And that's all we have for today, Dan.
Yes, thank you very much, Clint. So thank you everyone out there for joining us. We will be back in 2 weeks here for another close look at what's happening in the Calgary marketplace. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.